We have all been there, lying awake at 3 a.m., phone in hand, finger hovering over the call button, desperately wanting to reach out to someone who has grown distant. We have all felt the gnawing anxiety that comes when someone we love begins to pull away, the suffocating fear that whispers, "If I don't hold tighter, I will lose them forever." We craft careful messages, orchestrate coincidental meetings, and find ourselves becoming someone we barely recognize. Someone who negotiates for affection, who bargains for attention, who mistakes surveillance for devotion. In these moments of raw vulnerability, when love feels like drowning and we grasp for anything that might keep us afloat, we discover a truth that cuts deeper than any blade. The very act of clinging pushes away what we most desperately wish to keep close. The divine mathematics of the heart. In the ancient arithmetic of the soul, love operates by laws that confound the logical mind. Here, addition comes through subtraction, possession through release, and strength through the willingness to be vulnerable. The heart that clings tightest holds nothing. The hand that opens freely discovers what was always meant to rest within its palm. This is love's most beautiful contradiction, that we must surrender what we cherish most to truly claim it, that we must trust the wind to carry back what belongs to us, even as we watch it disappear beyond the horizon of our understanding. Like water that slips through desperate fingers yet flows naturally into cupped palms, love responds not to force but to the gentle art of allowance. We spend lifetimes learning this sacred mathematics, where multiplication happens through division, where wholeness emerges from the courage to be incomplete. The universe speaks in paradoxes because truth itself is paradoxical, and nowhere is this more evident than in matters of the heart, where our deepest fears and greatest hopes dance together in the mysterious choreography of human connection. The prison of golden chains. We build cages from our affections, believing that love means keeping another soul within arm's reach, within the boundaries of our comfort and control. Yet these golden chains, forged from fear and dressed in devotion's clothing, become the very instruments that strangle what we seek to preserve. True love recognizes that the beloved is not a possession to be hoarded, but a star that must be free to chart its own course across the vast sky of existence. When we attempt to dim that light, to pull it closer for our own warmth, we extinguish the very brilliance that drew us to it. The butterfly pinned to our wall may remain with us forever, but it is no longer the dancing creature that captured our wonder. In our desperate need for security, we transform living, breathing connections into museum pieces, preserved but lifeless, present but no longer truly alive. We create elaborate systems of expectation and obligation, mistaking compliance for devotion, routine for commitment. The very acts we believe will keep love close, the constant checking in, the subtle restrictions, the emotional negotiations, become the walls that separate us from the authentic connection we crave. This prison we construct is invisible yet impenetrable, built not from bars of steel but from threads of insecurity, jealousy, and the suffocating need to know that someone cannot live without us. We confuse dependence with love, addiction with affection, and in doing so, we create relationships that survive not because they thrive, but because they have become too tangled to escape. The tragedy is not that such relationships end, but that they often continue, two souls slowly suffocating in the name of love, mistaking their shared imprisonment for deep connection. The alchemy of surrender. To let go is to perform the most profound alchemy of the human experience, transforming fear into faith, desperation into dignity, attachment into authentic love. This surrender is not the passive resignation of defeat, but the active choice of the spiritually mature heart. It requires us to say, with trembling voice but steady soul, "I love you enough to risk losing you. I believe in what we share enough to test it against the vast possibilities of the universe." In this moment of release, we discover whether our love was built on the solid foundation of genuine connection or the shifting sands of need and habit. The act of letting go becomes a prayer, whispered into the cosmos. If this love is real, let it return transformed and strengthened by its journey. This prayer demands everything of us: our ego, our security, our carefully constructed sense of how love should unfold. We must become alchemists of the heart, willing to dissolve our attachment to outcomes and trust in the mysterious intelligence that governs authentic connection. In this sacred transformation, We learn to distinguish between love and the fear of being alone, between genuine care and the need to be needed. We discover that true love is not diminished by distance or threatened by freedom. It is refined by them. Like gold purified in fire, love that survives the test of release emerges more precious, more authentic, more capable of sustaining itself across the inevitable storms of human existence. The courage to let go becomes the very proof of our capacity for true love, demonstrating that we love not from emptiness seeking to be filled, but from fullness seeking to overflow. The revelation in the void. When someone we have released chooses not to return, the silence speaks volumes that no words could convey. Their absence becomes a teacher, revealing truths we were perhaps too afraid to see while they remained close. What we thought was love may have been comfort, what felt like destiny may have been merely timing, and what seemed like forever may have been just a season in the grand symphony of our lives. This knowledge, though it cuts deep, also sets us free. The empty space they leave behind is not merely absence. It is presence of a different kind. It is the presence of possibility, of lessons learned, of illusions dissolved. Their departure becomes a gift wrapped in grief, offering us the clarity that proximity often obscures. We begin to see the relationship not as we wished it to be, but as it actually was. We recognize the red flags we ignored, the compromises that slowly eroded our authentic selves, the ways we contorted ourselves to fit into spaces never meant for our souls. In recognizing what was never truly ours, we create space for what is meant to be. The empty chair at our table is not a monument to loss, but an altar preparing for the arrival of what belongs. Their absence teaches us the difference between someone who adds to our life and someone we believe we cannot live without. A distinction that holds the key to all future happiness. For in releasing what was never ours, we make room for what has been searching for us all along, what recognizes us not as a project to be endured but as a home to be cherished. Before we continue, I'd love to take a moment to sincerely thank you for being part of this journey toward personal beauty and endless growth. Your support, whether through watching, subscribing, liking, or sharing, truly means world to me. Now, let's get back to the video. The sacred return. And yet, there exists a promise woven into the very fabric of love's design, that what is authentically ours will find its way back, often in forms more beautiful than we dared imagine. When someone returns after being freely released, they come not as a captive to our expectations, but as a willing participant in love's grand design. Their return carries the weight of choice, the beauty of recognition, and the power of love that has been tested and proven true. They come back not because they must, but because their heart, having explored all possibilities, still chooses the sanctuary of our shared connection. The circle completes itself. In the end, love reveals itself as the greatest act of faith in the human experience. It asks us to believe in invisible threads that connect souls across time and space, to trust in the magnetic pull of authentic connection, and to have courage enough to let the universe prove what is real. Those who love us truly cannot stay away indefinitely. They are drawn back by forces stronger than circumstance, deeper than convenience. And those who can disappear completely were never ours in the way that transcends the temporary nature of human arrangements. A message of hope for the journey ahead. Dear soul who has loved deeply and let go bravely, know that your courage has not gone unnoticed by the universe. Every act of release is a seed of faith planted in the fertile soil of possibility. What is meant for you is already making its way back, perhaps transformed by its own journey, perhaps accompanied by gifts you never thought to request. Trust in love's mysterious mathematics, that what you give freedom to will either return more beautiful than before, or clear the path for something even more magnificent to enter your life. Your willingness to let go proves the depth of your capacity to love, and hearts that can love so fully are destined for connections that will never require chains to remain. The greatest love stories are not about those who never left, but about those who were free to leave and chose to stay.